most direct effect is going to be inflation. When people hear about crude oil prices, they think about gasoline. They think it's going to be more expensive to fill up the car. And that's true, but it's only a small part of the big picture. When you go to your local grocery store or shopping mall, pretty much everything you see on the shelves was carried there on a truck that runs on diesel. And to make diesel, all you need crude oil. So that means pretty much all the products you have in the economy are likely to get more expensive as crude oil gets more expensive. Oil is also an essential ingredient for many products, including plastics. So the inflation shock that is coming is pretty much unavoidable. Now, the good news is today the world is much less dependent on Middle East oil than it was in the 1970s, when spiking oil prices caused years of high inflation, which reached as much as 13% per year in America at one point. And that led to heavy economic stagnation. Now, today, the US is a much bigger producer of oil, so America is not so dependent on the Middle East. And also, renewable sources provide a lot more of the world's energy, so the impact should not be quite as dramatic. But inflation is still going to happen. And then the question is, what will this inflation mean for financial markets? Now, before I answer that, here's a thought. The next few months are likely to be intense for European investors. If you're not a professional investor, it might be difficult to keep up with the news and figure out what you pay attention to and what you can safely ignore. So if you'd like a bit of help with that, I actually write a newsletter for European investors. It's got over 100,000 readers all over Europe. And in the newsletter, I cover market updates, but also insights for ETF and index investors. So if that's interesting, simply follow the link in the description to sign up. So what's the effect of high inflation on the financial markets? Well, the most direct relationship is to the bond market, because when investors see high inflation coming, they expect central banks to push up interest rates. Okay, one of the main jobs of a central bank is to control inflation. And the way they do this is by pushing up interest rates, by making borrowing more expensive for regular people and for businesses, which pulls back on demand and which has this dampening effect on prices. So when you have these inflation shocks, bond prices tend to drop and bond yields tend to shoot up. And that is exactly what we saw as the Iran